Okay. Hello, good evening. My name is Miss Florence, and I'll be taking you through biology, as you've seen on the board. And our topic for today is cell. Cell. What cell is? So, according to biology, cell is the smallest functional unit of life. Now, there are two keywords there: smallest and functional. It is the smallest. So a cell is the smallest part of life that functions on its own, that can survive, that can provide its own food, reproduce, multiply from cell, or have the tissue. Then tissue makes the organs. That is the whole system, be it in plants or animal. So in cells, cell is of two types. You have the prokaryotic, you can say unicellular as well, interchangeably. Developed, and they are devoid of a true nucleus or a true nucleus. An example of a prokaryotic cell is something like bacteria. And archaebacteria. As we all know, bacteria, they are microscopic organisms, and they are prokaryotic cells. They have just one cell. So this one cell functions to give the bacteria life. It functions to help the bacteria reproduce, excrete work product, and carry out all its life processes. While the eukaryotic cells are found in higher organisms like plants and animals. Now, plants and animals have more than one cells. More than one cell that work together to give it life. More than one cell that work together to make it reproduce, excrete. Now, the structure of cell. What does cell look like? We can only understand the structure of cell by giving the drawing of a cell. And now, if we have to do this, we have to differentiate between plant and animal cells because they have their similarities, like the things that you can find in a plant cell that are found in an animal cell, but they still have their differences, which range from their shapes and some organelles that are found in them. So this drawing I'm putting up here is typical of a plant cell. Now, what you have on the board there is a structure of a plant cell, like what a plant cell looks like. I'm sure you have your phone there. You can also go online and browse it. This might not be so clear to you, but when you go online, you browse it, I'm sure you're going to see something like this. But these organelles are going to appear clearer for you to understand them or to see them. So now, we have the nucleus. Here, the nucleus is the center of the cell, or the life hub of the cell. This nucleus contains the cell hereditary materials which are found in the nucleus. That is the cell chromosomes. They help the cell to reproduce. Here you have the mitochondrion. The mitochondrion is a cell organelle that powers the cell. It converts food to energy, that's ATP. Now, this is the structure of a plant cell. They are regarded as cell organelles. So I'll take my time to explain each of these cell organelles and what they do. Of the cell. When the nucleus of this cell is dead or is not dead, then the cell lives no more. Then you have the nucleus, which is found in the nucleus. It gives the cell the energy to function, to grow, to reproduce, and do other things. You have to synthesize proteins and transport proteins throughout the cell, the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now, if you look closer, you see the ribosomes. These ribosomes are closer to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. That is what gives it its rough nature, or its rough form. That is why it's regarded as a rough endoplasmic reticulum. So ribosomes are actually protein, they synthesize protein. They are what helps the cell to synthesize protein for growth, which is close to the rough endoplasmic reticulum that transport the synthesized protein. Now you have the cell, when there's poison in the cell or something that is not supposed to be a foreign body in the cell, it is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum that helps to digest it and take it out of the cell. Okay, you have the chloroplast. We all know what chloroplast is. This is what helps plants to produce their own food through photosynthesis. So any cell that doesn't have chloroplast is obviously not a plant cell. And a plant cell without chloroplast is a dead plant cell. So this is the cell wall. This cell wall helps to protect the cell. It helps to protect the cell from intrusion or invasion of, from all the other surrounding environment. This forms a wall around the cell, prevents other organisms or other things that are not supposed to go into the cell to go into the cell. You have the cell membrane. That is, after the cell wall, you have a cell membrane. The cell membrane also helps to form a wall around the internal organs of the cell, that is the cell organelles. Then you have the central vacuole. Central vacuole, this is usually found in plant cells, and they are for storage and also helps the plant to regulate pressure. The cell vacuole taking almost all the whole part of the cell. That is why it's very large. As you can see from there, it's larger than all other cell organelles you can see out there. So it takes almost all the space for the plant cell. It helps it to provide storage for the cell, and then help the cell also to withstand pressure. Then you have the cytoplasm. Now this is the internal body of the cell. This is it is in form of water. On the cytoplasm, that is where you find all other cell organelles surviving or existing. The internal structure, in the internal of the cell, is the cytoplasm. It is a liquid form or made of more of water. So you find the chloroplast, you find the endoplasmic reticulum, you find the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosomes, the nucleus, and every other cell organelle in the plant cell are contained in the cytoplasm of the plant cell. Okay, so some of these organelles also, as you've seen here in the plant cell, are also found in an animal cell, but with a little variation. For example, in an animal cell, you can't find the chloroplast. Chloroplast is not there. The vacuole is usually, the central vacuole is usually very small in animal cells. Then animal cells also lack cell walls. They do not have cell walls. Rather, they have cell membrane or plasma membrane. So now let's take a look at the structure of. Okay, so this is the structure of an animal cell. As you can see, from the appearance, it's different from that of a plant cell. Animal cells are mostly round and irregular. They do not have a particular, they do not take a particular shape, but the part of the body where they are found determines their shape. Unlike the part of the cell that forms a shield for the cell that protects the internal organelles of the cell. Here in animal cell is a cell membrane, but in the plant cell it is called cell wall, just as we saw in the previous structure or drawing. You have the ribosomes, which is also involved in protein synthesis. The vacuole found in the animal cell is smaller compared to what you see in the plant cell. Now you have the nucleus, which is the center of the cell that carries the cell hereditary materials. This is the nucleus. You have the lysosome, found also in. Now, to digest food and unwanted materials, excreta, waste products of the cell. It is digested in the lysosome in the plant cell, animal cell, and that of the plant cell. Find that they have similar organelles except for a few organelles that are different. They have except for a few organelles that are different, and their functions, just as it is in plant cell, is the same in an animal cell, except for the organelles that are not found in either of the cells. So I would like to give a list of the cell organelles found both in the plant and animal cell. You have the nucleus, we have the cytoplasm, where other cell organelles are found. Like I said earlier, it is in liquid form or water-like, so every other cell organelle floats in the cytoplasm. You have the ribosomes, you have the rough endoplasmic reticulum, or rough EP. You have the cell membrane, you have the cell wall, you have the mitochondrion, you have the lysosome, and you have the vacuoles, either in a plant cell or in an animal cell. Now, except the chloroplast and the cell wall, every other organelle you see here can be found in both plants and in both animals. But because of the difference in their structure, their function, so let's talk about the differences now in detail. I'm going to use a table to differentiate them. In the plant cell, like I said earlier, you have the cell wall. Cell wall is present. But it's absent in an animal cell. Number two, no matter the plant it is, no matter how grown or how small the plant is, it has a rectangular cellular shape, or the cell shape is rectangular, no matter the part of the plant where you find it. While in the animal cell, mostly round or irregular. By irregular, I mean the part of the body where you find it can actually affect its appearance in shape. And plants form a storage, and it also helps the cell to withstand pressure or regulate pressure rather. In animals, say you have one, two, or more. Sorry, in the plant cells, plants do not really move about like animals. Plants' movements are restricted. Maybe the branches, which can swing when the breeze blows, or something. But they do not move from one point to the other like animals. So they do not necessarily need movement and what they can use to move, unlike in the plant cell, in the animal cell rather. So, in some animal cells, you can find the presence of the cilia and flagella, or cilia or flagella. You can't find both of them together. But some animals can have the cilia that aid in their movement. Some also can have the flagella that can aid in their movement from one part of the animal's body to another, helping them in their movement. But because plants do not make such movements, they do not need cell organelles. We need to know about the plant cell. Basically, all we need to know about the plant cell. Now, similarities between animal cells and plant cells. I was able to outline the differences between the plant cell and the animal, between the animal cells and the plant cell. That will be your assignment. Okay, as part of the class, I would like us to look at some questions from the past years in JAMB, 2010. So, now these questions came in different forms. In some of them, they will give you the structure of cell, level it, and then ask you to identify some organelles. While in the other, they will give you a structure, but they will ask you the functions of those organelles, what they do, and what they look like. So, can be found on number 2, question number 2, question number 3, and question number 8. Now, I'll read them out. So, the number 2 question in JAMB 2010, they gave us options. Option A says, the cytoplasm fills up the entire cell space. Option B says, the nucleus is pushed to the center of the cell. Option C says the cell wall is made up of cellulose, and option D says the nucleus is small and irregular in shape. What characterizes a mature plant cell? Plasma, where other cell organelles are found. So that is not the likeliest answer to it. Now, this option B, the nucleus is pushed to the center of the cell. No, this is not an answer for it. Also, number C, you have the cell wall is made up of cellulose. Now, I did mention it earlier, but in a plant cell, the cell wall is composed of cellulose. It is composed of cellulose. So that is the answer to the question, what characterizes a mature plant cell? The cell wall is made up of cellulose. And the last option there is that the nucleus is small and irregular in shape. That is not the answer because the plant cell has a fixed structure or a fixed shape. It is not an animal cell that shape can change at any time. So question number 3 says, which of the following is not a function of the nucleus of a cell? Which of the following is not a function of the nucleus of a cell? A, now, note it, not. Which of the following is not? So, if there are 10 options there, the one that is not the function of the nucleus of the cell, you have A, it controls the life process of the cell. That is true. B, it translates genetic information for the manufacture of proteins. That is true. Number C, it stores and carries hereditary information, which is also true. And number D says it is the reservoir of energy for the cell. That is not true. The mitochondrion is the reservoir of energy for the cell. It's not the reservoir of energy for the cell. So that is the answer. In case you see it in any other place, then which of the following, question A says, which of the following group of cells is devoid of true nuclei? A, you have the algae, B, you have the Monera, C, you have the fungi, and D, you have the viruses. Now, algae can be classified, algae and Monera can be classified as lower plants. Even the fungi can be classified as a lower plant. So, and because they are lower plants, they have true nuclei. They are eukaryotic cells. And as I mentioned, plants and animals are eukaryotic cells. They are cells that have the true nuclei. So the only option there that doesn't have the true nuclei is the virus and all that. So the answer there is viruses. So that is it for 2010. In the year 2012, we have questions bordering on cell on question 2 and question 3. So here, they gave a structure of the cell. That is the structure of an animal cell. And the question they asked, the organelle responsible for hereditary is labeled what? Now, this is where you need to know your cell structure off by hand. You need to learn them, you need to learn their functions, you need to learn what each organelle looks like. You have your phone there, Google the structure of an animal cell, Google the structure of a plant cell, learn it, know what each of the organelles there do, know their position, know what they look like, so that we see questions bordering on that, you can easily answer it. Now, this question, if you don't know the structure of an animal cell, if you cannot off by hand describe what an animal by you, what you know, identify which is which, and then give us the answer. So, and we should all know the cell organelle responsible for hereditary is the nucleus. It's the cell nucleus. It contains the nucleus which has the chromosomes. So it is left for you to identify the nucleus of the cell. Another question is that the path labeled IV is the A, mitochondrion, B, cell wall, C, endoplasmic reticulum, and D, the nucleus. It's also left for you to identify the part which it is. If you know what it does, then you can actually get your options. IV is the what? So we have it. The answer on question 3 is C, and other cell organelles. Okay, so let's move ahead. 2013, we have question 4 and question 3. Now here they said the organ which is sensitive to light in the euglena is dash. A, the gullet, B, the flagellum, C, the chloroplast, and D, you have the eye spot. Now the euglena is the bacteria, and the bacteria, and if you look at option A says the gullet. The gullet is found in the human body, in the body of an animal rather. Then you have option B, the flagellum. The flagellum, like I said earlier, the flagella helps animal cellular movement. So because the bacteria is not an animal, so you definitely cannot find the flagellum there. Then you have the chloroplast, and then you have the eye spot. So the answer to this question is the eye spot. That is the part which is sensitive to light in the euglena. Question number 4 says, the organelles present in cells that are actively respiring and photosynthesizing. Actively respiring and photosynthesizing. Now, these are two functions, respiration and photosynthesis. Respiration and photosynthesis. So you have to understand your question before you even think of getting the right answer. You have the mitochondria and the chloroplast. At least, even if you don't know the organelle that respires, but you know at least the chloroplast is used for photosynthesis. So that should give you a clue of the answer. And if you look at it in the options, the chloroplast appeared only once. So the option there is the mitochondria for respiration, which gives the plant, the cell energy. Then the chloroplast, which is used for photosynthesis. So we'll move ahead. So in the year 2014, we have questions on cell, question number 2 and question number 3. So let's look at the questions. Okay, so here now they gave the structure of a cell, and now they asked the labeled it and said, the label is I, and they said, which the part labeled I is dash. A, the nucleus, B, the eye spot, you have the basal granule and the contractile vacuole. Now, it's left for you to understand the structure of your cell, like I said earlier, to be able to answer these questions. Another question said the part responsible for photosynthesis level. So, all this said, it's all boiled down to knowing yourself off by hand, your cell structure and functions off by hand, then you'll be able to answer these questions. So, in the year 2015, question 34. In question 33, they gave the structure of a plant cell. They asked if the cell organelle solely responsible for respiration is A, the nucleus, you have the nucleus, you have the endoplasmic reticulum, and you have the mitochondrion. Mitochondrion is the answer. This is labeled. So it's only if you know your cell structure that you can be able to answer it. In question 37 and 38, they gave the structure of a paramecium and they said the organelle responsive for osmoregulation. So this all boils down to you knowing your cell structure and your organelles and functions. You'll be able to answer your questions. So let's check. Question number 29. I say the cell organelle solely responsible for respiration is. Should I give you the answer? The mitochondria. You have the options there. This question has been repeated like 3 times from the various years, if I'm not mistaken, aside the structures. So study your cell structure, know their functions, know each organelle by hand. You'll be able to answer any question that is bordering on cell. In 2017, we have question 6. They said the organelle responsible for osmoregulation in paramecium. Now, you also have to understand if the paramecium is a plant or an animal or a bacteria. You'll be able to understand the category of the category where it's called, category of life where it falls. You'll be able to answer the question. So the answer to that is the amphibian tubes. Osmoregulation, that is, helps to regulate its body contents, take out waste and bring in what is needed into the cell body. You have question number of the cell that determines paternity. What is it talking about? It's hereditary. So, and the cell organelle that is responsible for hereditary will have the mitochondria. So, our answer is obviously the nucleus. In 2018, you have a question 3 is on cell. Get the amount of energy in the cell. B, suspends all cell organelles. C is the outermost part of the cell, the function of the mitochondrion. Option C says it's the outermost part of the cell. I don't agree as well. The cell wall or the cell membrane. And D is solely responsible for cell division. No, that should be the function of the nucleus. So the right option here is option B, suspends all cell organelles. Like I said earlier, all other organelles floats in the cytoplasm. So it's the same thing as the cytoplasm suspending all other cell organelles, and they will trash it out. And then the assignment, similarities between animal cells and plant cells, also try to work on that. Thank you and see you some other time.